The Milwaukee Bucks cannot be trusted to win the 2021 NBA championship. And the ironic thing about me making this video and saying that is that a couple of days ago, I dropped a video about the Bucks and why they have to win the 2021 NBA championship. But now here we are with them being up 2-1. Chris Middleton had an amazing game 3 in which in the fourth quarter he basically told the Hawks to go home. And considering the state of the playoffs as the Lakers and Nets are already removed from it, many people including myself believed it was a prime opportunity for the Bucks to finally make that finals championship run that they've been wanting to have over the last couple of years in the Giannis and Bud era. But it's nights like game 1 against the Hawks or game 5 against the Nets where I question, why do we have such faith in this team to get to the championship and even potentially win it? But before I get too deep into my bag, I would like to give a shout out to the sponsors, and it is StarStock. StarStock is a new and improved marketplace for sports card hobbyists to buy, sell, and invest in their favorite athletes. The goal is to enable sports fans to instantly trade cards like never before. And if you're not convinced, sign up today with my promo code YoungMustard and receive $10 free whenever you make a deposit of $10 or more. So if you're interested in baseball or basketball cards, make sure you check out StarStock because they will not let you down. But now that I'm done with the plug and the intro, let's get back into my bag and talk about this Milwaukee Bucks team. Now, when I look at this team 1 minute, they look like a dominant juggernaut that nobody can stop. But then I see them another minute and they look like one of the most confusing offenses in the history of the NBA, and even showing lack of effort on the defensive end at times also. And that is the worst thing to be in the NBA. Inconsistent. Because yes, they do have Giannis that is a superstar, 2-time MVP, former depoy. We all know what his resume is and what he brings to the table on both ends of the floor. But unfortunately, this is not just a Giannis thing. This is what's around him that's the problem. Because when you look at what Giannis has done this postseason, he's literally only had like 1 or 2 bad games. He's had certain moments that I thought he could have played better, like at the end of game 5. But when you're going back and forth with Kevin Durant, you don't really have that much room for error, and they eventually won the series anyways. So taking that into consideration, combined with the fact that Giannis played amazing in that series, there's not really that much criticism I can give him anyways. But if there is something that I can say about Giannis, it's the fact that he takes threes that are unnecessary. I understand the defense is giving you that space, but they're giving you that space for a reason. In the regular season, you shot 30% from 3, and this postseason you're shooting 18% on even more attempts than you shot in the regular season. So as far as this postseason, Giannis should just give it a rest with these unnecessary ass threes. Now at the free throw line, that's a different discussion. Giannis, you are a 2-time league MVP who is universally recognized as a top 5 to 10 NBA player, and yet you're struggling to shoot 50% at the free throw line. That is unacceptable. And considering that free throws have cost you very important playoff series like 2019 against Toronto, I'd say you're very fortunate that you haven't had the same result yet. But like I said, Giannis is really not to blame for a lot of the Bucks' issues other than the free throw shooting. I gotta say, that kind of stuff is just ridiculous. It frustrates me because I can make free throws, and to see an NBA player being paid millions of dollars, especially a player like Giannis, that can't make free throws, it's such a frustrating thing to watch, especially when you're rooting for Giannis to win a championship this year. But then you move on to the other part of the big 3, and that's where my real problem lies. Let's just start off with Jrue Holiday. Look, Jrue, you were brought in to be the replacement for smelly, disgusting trash named Eric Bledsoe, but yet throughout the regular season, you had a solid year. You even shot nearly 40% at the 3-point line. But yet this postseason, not only has your shot from behind the arc gone away for some mysterious reason as you're shooting 29% from 3, but even as just a scoring option in general, in some of these games you look like Eric Bledsoe. As in half of the games that Jrue Holiday has played this postseason with the Bucks, he is shooting below 40% in 7 of the 14 games. And it would be one thing if he was just going out there missing a lot of open shots, but that's not even the case. I've seen Jrue Holiday have possessions where he'll come down the court in the beginning of the shot clock and just jack up a stupid 3. And I don't know if anybody's ever told you this, Jrue, despite you shooting really good in the regular season from 3, you are not Steph Curry. So please, for the love of God, stop trying to play like him, because it's just never going to happen, Jrue. And I gotta say, out of all the players on this Bucks team, Jrue Holiday has to be the most disappointing one this postseason, because not only did he have a reputation where he was clutch in the playoffs, especially in 2018 against Damian Lillard, but let's not also forget what they gave up to get Jrue in the first place, which was a haul. But then that brings us to Cash Money Chris Middleton himself. And look, I got no beef with Chris Middleton. I don't know why people say I'm some Chris Middleton hater. I just tell it like it is. And like it is that Chris Middleton is not a consistent second option. I like Chris, he's a solid player, but he's way better if he is a third guy rather than a second guy, especially if he has to be the closer. And I know what a lot of people are gonna say. Hasn't Chris Middleton hit a lot of big shots for the Bucks, especially against the Nets? And my response to that is, 1, let's not forget the Nets were injured, and 2, even in that Nets series, in 4 out of the 7 games, Middleton shot below 40% from the field. And in game 1 against the Hawks, we saw a copy and paste of that as he shot 26% from the field and went 0 of 9 from 3. And mind you, Middleton was a guy that was just mere percentages off from being in the 50-40-90 club last season, but now is struggling to shoot 40% in a lot of these playoff games. And this shouldn't really be a surprise to anybody that has kept tabs on Chris Middleton's career. He's been an inconsistent playoff performer in a lot of postseasons with the Milwaukee Bucks. And the one that always sticks out in my head is what happened in 2019 against the Toronto Raptors, as Middleton was held to a mere 13 to 14 points a game on 41% shooting. And trust me, Giannis definitely has a role in the fact that Middleton has to be the closer, because if Giannis could just fucking shoot or handle the ball better, create his own shot better, he would have that responsibility and there would be less pressure on Middleton. But unfortunately, that is not the situation. Giannis, despite him being a great player, has his limitations. We've seen bigs throughout NBA history have to rely on guards in order for them to be really successful and reach their fullest potential in the NBA. And as good as Middleton is, he is no Kobe. He is no Dwayne Wade. But based on the sheer fact that you are the best shot creator on the team, you have to be the best option down the stretch of these games. And when you have to go back and forth with the likes of Kevin Durant or a Trae Young, or even in the NBA Finals, potentially Chris Paul, Devin Booker, or Kawhi Leonard, yeah, I'm going to bet on the other guys because they're way better at closing than Chris Middleton is, and they're just better players in general. But despite all the criticism that I could give any player on this Milwaukee Bucks team, Coach Bud is not slick. Because coming into this season, we all knew this was potentially going to be Bud's last year, especially if they went down in a playoff disaster. But with them being on the verge of making their first finals in over 3.5 decades, I gotta say, it does not look like that is going to happen, as Coach Bud is probably going to stay with the Bucks. But the lack of adjustments that Budenholzer shows every single postseason has shown its face again, as due to their defensive scheme, they just give up mid-range jumpers, and guys like Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and Trae Young took advantage of it so far this postseason, and they're very fortunate that injuries hit the Nets and the Hawks, because if they were both fully healthy, we all know that things would have been a little bit different. And for the love of all good things in basketball, could you at least experiment with Giannis at the 5? Because yes, Brook Lopez is a good rim protector and shot blocker, but he does not have the lateral quickness to keep up on pick and rolls, which forces him to drop back all the time. So any person using common sense here in this situation should understand that putting Giannis at the 5 should be essential, especially when you're going up against teams that can space the floor in the front court. But unfortunately, knowing the history of Coach Bud, he just will not do that. Now, before I wrap up this video, I want to say this: the Bucks could still win the 2021 NBA championship, and I'm sure when they do that, or if they do that, people will come back to this video's comment section and tell me that I'm an idiot and that this video did not age well. But my point of making this video isn't to talk about the fact that the Bucks are not going to win, because I still believe the Bucks are going to win the 2021 NBA championship, or at least I'm holding on hope for them to do so. My point in making this video is that they are one of the most inconsistent championship teams that I have ever seen. Like I said in the intro, 1 minute they look like world beaters, the next minute they look like one of the most confusing offenses in NBA history. And when you have to rely on somebody like Chris Middleton, or in this case of the postseason this year, Jrue Holiday, as your second and third best players, seeing how it's worked out so far in this postseason combined with recent failures in the playoffs in the past, I gotta say, the Bucks, yeah, they cannot be trusted. But fortunately to all you Bucks fans, my opinion is not fact. So let me know your opinion down below in the comment section, and I will respond to as many people as possible, because trust me, I do read the comments. But make sure y'all drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and press the bell for post notifications. Check out my second channel, and also make sure you check out the Nothing But Action podcast I do with my boys J Smooth, Bino, and Darius. The links to our audio platforms and YouTube channel are down below in the description box. Y'all stay safe and have a blessed day. Your boy Young Mustard is signing out. Peace.